Evening. Warning, this might be a long one because I thought I needed to record this. I'm sat here this evening in our kitchen farmhouse kitchen even, where I'm lucky enough to be at the moment, because at the moment we haven't got the house rented out, which is what we do to try and keep this beautiful farm going, because the horses that we have, all the Friesians, it's always been that we can't, and I've never looked at relying on them to raise enough money to keep the farm going. So we rent the farmhouse out. My sister, my son and I go and stay in a caravan when people are staying in the house. And that's fine, we don't mind doing it, because it means that we can keep this place going. The reason I wanted to record this was because I was just sat here with my computer, as I usually am most evenings, doing, ordering of things for the horses, doing some admin, some accounts, some messages, emails, trying to think of how I can start promoting, keep on promoting what we do and keep the place afloat. And I just heard the very, very sad news that our local riding stables with the Slack Equestrian Centre are closing. And it's something that I've wanted to talk about for a long time, but I've never really quite known how to start the post and start having the conversation. And I'm going to talk about things that so many people who have horses and are in the equestrian world will know already, that there's very few, if any, equestrian establishments that can survive on just the horses alone. There's riding schools closing down all over the place. We're not a riding school, and I've had people coming to ride the horses over the years, and as a lot of you will know, I stopped that as a regular thing because it didn't suit the horses, it wasn't good for their own welfare. And now the only riding I offer is I only ask any of the horses to have a visiting rider on them, a maximum of once a week, because that way we can train them in between and give them the consistency that they need to keep themselves healthy. And it means that when people come along, they have a better experience, and the horses can tolerate having somebody different telling them slightly different things to what they're used to just occasionally. But in order to do that, I obviously need to charge a much higher rate for that, because it's not just the time that's allocated to that person coming along to ride, it's all the preparation work that goes into it beforehand, and the welfare of the horses, looking after them, the feed bills, the staff costs, the haylage production, the land management, the building maintenance, machinery, tractors, vehicles. There's so much to it. And just as I suppose Jeremy Clarkson has done an amazing job highlighting the fact that farms don't make money. We're a small farm. We've got, about 70 acres. We don't do conventional farming because there's no way that it could be economical. There's no way that we could make money from it if we had cows or sheep. It's such a small farm. So I moved onto the farm however many years ago it is, 17, 18, I lose track, and had this very naive, romantic idea of filling the fields with black horses. Stupidly, foolishly thought that I could make a business with the horses, doing carriage driving. But at the end of the day, nothing with horses really makes enough money to make it profitable. Now, I don't want to be massively profitable. I just want to keep this farm going where we live, where we're lucky enough to live, look after these beautiful horses, that we have here, and most importantly, share them, which is what I've done for many, many years with visitors coming here, with people online. But the long and short of it is, they don't pay for themselves. And I don't want to work them in a way that's detrimental to their health and their welfare to make them make enough money so that I can keep them, because it's a false economy. Because if I say had lots of people coming and riding, then I found over the years they were getting injured, and then that increases your costs on horses getting injured. You lose horses early. I'm going to bring my sister in now. I'm going to bring Tamara in now because we've had this conversation. I was just talking to Tamara. She's going to hate me now for bringing her in on this. You know, we talked about with a slack. You're going to have to sit down now and talk to the camera. Sorry.
Okay.
You know, and there's, what do we do with the farm? You know, Tamara looks after everything with managing the farmhouse and looking at ways to bring in an income so that we can pay the day-to-day costs of the farm.
Yeah, so the running costs, the repairs, and yeah, everything it takes to keep the roof over our heads.
Yeah, and keep the place going. You know, it's been in the family for over 100 years. You know, we've talked about the fact that the horses aren't ever going to make money, and you know, we could let the horses go. We could stop doing what we're doing, and we could just sell the land.
Yeah, sell all the land off and just live in the house. Here. But that's not a life any of us want. And the horses, this is their home.
It is, and like I said a minute ago, you know, it was very naive of me to think that, you know, I could do something with the Friesian horses and make it work and make it financially viable.
But you have done.
But the thing is, you know, we've had to look at different ways of making it work, which is, you know, why we came up with the stable stays. We've got the friendship barn. You know, we do experiences that you don't find in other equestrian places, because we've had to try and be creative. But even with doing these different creative things and charging more for them than a lot of equestrian businesses would do for people coming along, they're very unique. And even what we're charging, it's not covering all our costs.
It's not.
But we don't want to stop doing it and sharing it with everybody, because the horses bring us a huge amount of pleasure. They clearly bring everybody online a lot of pleasure, you know, those that follow us, and the visitors who come along here, a lot of pleasure. But, you know, Tamara and I are at the point now where, you know, when you hear the news like Witherslack closing down and lots of other establishments closing down, costs are going up for everybody. The only way we can keep this going is to carry on down this route of fundraising and asking for donations to keep the place going.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, you just had the meeting with the accountant, and we've got last year's figures, and
it's scary, as you know. I don't like doing accounts.
No, turns us both to drink. But there are some other costs that we need to factor in. Outstanding debts on electricity.
Yeah, I've got a huge bill that, you know, I owe Scottish Power over £6,000 at the moment, but I can only pay what I can pay. Yeah. I don't even pay myself. You know,
well, neither of us get paid.
We don't get paid, you know, and we're not necessarily looking to earn a huge wage, because we're lucky we've got a roof over our head and we're just trying to keep that roof over our head.
And we are so lucky to live here, and I feel it's our responsibility to keep it going for, you know, Bailey and Tia and Megan and
the next generation.
And this is everybody's home, and I'm sure there's lots of other people who well, we know it's the cost of living crisis, isn't it?
Well, it's that, but even without the cost of living crisis, we'd still have an issue with, you know, what I have chosen to do. But it's a lifestyle choice, and there's a lot of people who could say, well, why do it if you can't afford to do it? Because going back to what I was saying at the start of the video, you tell me an equestrian establishment out there that's not actually funded or supported by external funds from some other business or somebody else. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting it all wrong.
No, you're not. And there are so many people out there, as we know, that love what we do here. They love it, and it's a really important thing that you do with the horses, and it makes so many people happy. It's sharing day-to-day life. There's never a dull moment here.
There's never. In fact, we had a lovely lady here on one of our yard experiences last week, and it was a fairly standard morning. There was the usual like weird things happening, like the hot horse shower blew up, and one of the horses trod in a bucket full of water and then just wandered off around the yard. You know, it was a fairly standard morning for us, and you know, she commented on the fact you pack so much into your time, and she loved everything we do, and the fact that she came along and felt part of it.
And that's what we have to keep doing, is sharing what we have here. Now, whether that be with the horses, definitely with the horses, we share our home for holiday rental. But for us, it's a privilege to live here. So therefore, giving the horses a home, sharing the farm with other people, that makes us happy. But
we're miserable when we don't get visitors. We like visitors to come along, because that human interaction is always good.
Because we live in our own little bubble here, and we don't really
like our little bubble. We don't want to know what's going on in the rest of the world.
And we don't really get off the farm that often, which is why there's little parties that happen occasionally, because, you know, life's short.
Yeah, and you have to do what you love and what you enjoy. And you know, it's taken me years to get over the whole guilt thing of asking people to help fund what we do. But so many people now have said how much pleasure this place brings to them, whether it's just through the screen or whether it's through visiting. That I'm slowly, it's taken me a long time, I'm a very slow learner, I'm slowly beginning to learn to understand how important it is. And I just want to shout it from the rooftops, you know, about this place. But you know, that's why I sit here most evenings and I'm on this and I'm thinking of ways of trying to get the message out there. But I'm not very good at that, because most of the time I want to be out with the horses, I want to be out doing things with them and sharing them with people. But equally, I need to get the message out there, hence why we do so much social media.
Yeah, but Tracy, you forget you're doing the job of 3 people. You're doing the training of the horses.
Only 3.
Well, actually, no, you bloody good point.
Jack of all trade.
No. So you're training the horses and looking after the horses. You're doing the accountancy, you know, the accounting side of things, and you're doing a full-on marketing job all day, every day. So
I'm supposed to be bringing my son up, Bailey. I should have roped him into this as well.
You're going to get him inputting for stuff on the computer.
Yeah.
But you can't physically fit any more hours of work and hours in the day. So, and what you are doing, we know from the feedback from all the lovely people who watch what we do, who write to you and to everyone here and tell us how much they love us doing it.
But
what we need to do, what we need to do is we need to, as we were having this conversation earlier, is we really do need to knuckle down onto all the costs, and I know there aren't any more ways of reducing our costs, because believe me, we've done as much as we possibly can. So we've reduced those down as much as possible, so we need to be realistic about what we charge for all the unique experiences that we offer, because they do need to cover staff costs, running costs, insurance, blah blah blah.
Insurance, let's not even talk about insurance. It costs me the same for insurance if I had 10 people ride a year or 10 people per day. At the end of the day, if somebody's going to come and sit on a horse, the costs are extortionate for insurance, and I would imagine that's going to be one of the reasons why a lot of riding establishments are closing down.
I don't know how they keep going. I honestly don't know how either farms or equestrian centres or animal sanctuaries or zoos, I don't know how those businesses are keeping going unless they have huge reserves. So we rely on the generosity of all our followers and the visitors we have. So we need to keep that going.
I think the whole thing with Hannes has been incredible because that fundraising gives us the security to know that we can keep looking after him, give him the treatment he wants. But those funds are reserved solely for Hannes.
Just for him.
Solely for him. We've still got our other day-to-day running costs, and of course a lot of our time is taken up with looking after him. So even if there were visitors knocking the door down, we have to reduce the amount of time we're giving to visitors because we've got to factor in that time of looking after him as well.
Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to say that I don't ever want to charge a huge sum of money to visitors coming with the view of them covering all of our costs so that we can keep going. And I think I accept the fact that the only way we can keep going is, and we are registered as a not-for-profit, is to rely on those donations and the fundraising to help support us. Obviously, every penny that's raised from visitors coming, whether it's stable stays, the friendship barn, the meet the horses, yard experiences, that goes on the day-to-day costs. But we have to rely on that income coming from other people who believe in what we do and want to see it keep going.
And also, we know that with social media outlets, if you're big enough and have a big enough following, you can monetize it. We're not at that stage.
We would be if I focused on it 100%, but there's a million and one other things to be doing. Holly is fantastic, Jodie is brilliant. The pair of them, Freya is...
And you're all good at it, but there's only a small team.
But we can't be like an influencer, because if we were an influencer, we'd have to be spending all day, every day, just doing videos and just doing content. And we can do content. Trust me, we're never going to be like some of these influencers who
have difficulty
have to worry about what they're going to put out there. There is always content here for us to put out, but it's just a case of us getting video at the right moments and then actually putting it together. And sometimes we spend our entire day walking horses up and down the road, and they're so good because they let us walk them while we're on the phone, like posting videos and commenting on things,
I wish there was a camera on Freya, myself and Doutzen and Annie this afternoon. It was hilarious. I've never seen Annie pull faces at me. honestly, I've never seen that, and I'm only starting to learn to read them. But oh my goodness, she was being as polite as she could, but she was basically telling me to get away from her water bucket. And Doutzen, so there's Annie with her ears back, pushing her head up at me, saying, "No, go away, go away." And Doutzen is sneaking down, grabbing hold of the water bucket and pulling it slowly away from Annie.
No, I've never seen
And so I
before.
managed to distract Annie from taking her water.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hilarious.
But that's the thing, you know, there's so much that goes on here every day, and we always say we would love to just have live cameras set up all over the place.
Just so people could watch in on the horses and what they get up to. And
yeah, I mean, that's why I popped the GoPro on Anya that one day, and it's lovely to just do something different. But as great as that was to do, I mean, just the editing of it,
well, that's
massively time consuming.
And Tracey does.
We don't have another person who comes in and does all that for us.
No, and also I don't think anybody else could, because you know
what bits to put in,
what bits to put in, and what bits to edit.
Yeah,
edit
Holly
out
does,
the
or
boards.
Jodie does, yeah.
I don't get involved in the filming or editing.
No, because Tamara's too busy trying to find ways to look into all the things that Jeremy Clarkson has people to do. You know, whether it's single farm payment, countryside stewardship, different ways of getting funding to keep a listed farm in the Lake District National Park afloat.
And to stop other parts of it falling down, which we're liable for because it's a Grade 2 listed building and it's a criminal offence to neglect it. And the planning is a massive, what would you call it?
Minefield.
Yes. So, yes.
And a money pit.
And
just like horses. Horses are a money pit. Any kind of planning is a money pit as well.
Clearly we never wanted an easy life.
No, and we don't, but we don't want an easy life. We really don't want an easy life because, well, no.
Sorry. I sometimes would like an easy life.
No, I think
easier.
We thrive on a challenge.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
You know, I really hope nobody's watching this and thinking we're whinging, because we're not. We absolutely love where we live, and we will never ever take it for granted. And we're so grateful that it's been in our family for 100 years, and we want to do everything we can to keep it going and to keep it a unique place and share it with everybody.
And sharing it, and that's our way of giving back to people. And you know, by renting the house out, we're sharing the farm with people. We love doing that. I wish we had more people coming who love all the horses who rent the house, because the whole thing as a package makes
amazing.
people smile.
And we've talked about doing, you know, different retreats here and organising things for people to come along and stay in the farmhouse, do things with the horses. They're all things that we probably could do, but it takes an awful lot of organising, you know, managing all sorts of things, as well as looking after the horses and the day-to-day care of the farm.
And it's not just looking after the horses, there's all the maintenance around the farm. Like, we've got fences down, the cows keep getting out because, you know, the fencing's fallen down.
They ate Tamara's favourite plant that she bought to go outside the friendship barn. She wasn't happy. No. And actually, wait for this reaction, because Tamara doesn't know this, but Freya told me earlier today that Tamara's done this beautiful private woodland walk for anyone who's staying in the house, and she got all little signs put up around it so that people knew the right place to walk. And she noticed today that the private woodland sign had disappeared from up by the little bullpen up at the top of the farm.
Do you know where it is?
I know what happened to it. It got trampled by Dexter cows. So I'm really sorry, but that's because our fencing is rubbish, and the cows got through and they trampled all the signs and they damaged them all. And I know if we asked Peter whose cows they were, he'll replace it, but it's just another thing to organise and sort out.
if I was 20 years younger, believe me, I would have I'd be out in a mini digger every day. I'd have.
Oh, she really would.
I'd have a tractor with a post knocker.
Do you want to drive my tractor?
No, it's awful.
It's a death trap.
I won't even get on the quad bike anymore. So, and we don't have proper farm machinery, but I'm not strong enough anymore. And because we're built on rock, the whole farm is rock. You have to have a breaker, go in and make the hole. Sometimes you might have a post that you can get into the ground, but you need the post knocker to put it in. I can't do that. Tracey doesn't have the time and couldn't do it.
No,
Holly, Freya, Jodie can't do it. So we have to employ somebody to do it, which is why at the moment we have so many broken fences, because we don't have the money to repair them.
Because
we just don't have it.
You know, to manage a farm, to manage the land, the walls, you know, the stone walls, which are beautiful, the fencing, you know, getting the right nutrients into the soil, you know, getting rid of the muck heap, cutting hedges, rolling fields. My roller is a liability. My harrows are absolutely knackered. All of that costs money to do, but it actually but none of it brings in an income. But that's farms up and down the country. You know, that's not just us.
I think Clarkson's farm, absolutely brilliant. We love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. But it only touches the top of the iceberg where costs are concerned.
Yeah.
And the latest series highlights so many issues. I mean, Jeremy Clarkson has, what's the land manager's name?
Do you know, that's awful. I keep forgetting. But he's brilliant.
He's
absolutely
great.
Brilliant.
We can't afford to pay a land manager, so that's why I spend time, you know, researching all these things.
That's why Tamara's land manager, but obviously, you know, it takes hours and hours of research and gives her sleepless nights most nights.
No, that's the lack of money in the account. But so there's all these things that go on a farm. We didn't grow up on a farm. I've only learnt about farm things over the last sort of 5.5 years. There's so much to it. We love it. I love it. We love living on a farm. It's so hard. It's so hard to make an income. You know, we don't have land that's suitable for arable.
No.
You know, and
we don't have machinery that can get through the rocks.
We don't. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine how much you'd have to invest, even if you would just hire the machinery?
It's like, even, you know, if you've watched the video of the horses out in the field, you know, I always sacrifice the 14-acre field in the winter, you know, which gets all muddy and it looks all brown compared to all the green fields around. You know, that really should be having lime put on it. It should be getting reseeded. We've got the top area up there that should be reseeded as well, but actually it needs some topsoil really. So there's all these side of things. Aside from looking after the horses and doing the general day-to-day things. And as we know, the horses are the most important thing at Greenbank Farm, and they really do live their best lives, apart from all the mud in the 14-acre field. And the fencing at the front. And that gate, which is shocking. Yeah. And I will say this on camera, I'm so happy that my daffodils are coming out up the driveway. Oh, she's so protective of her daffodils. There is one area. They are beautiful, but if any of the horses tread on that bit of grass where the daffodils are, she's so angry. She's so angry. There is an area where the daffodils haven't come up, but we'll see that when they all bloom, and you can see where the horses have been. But anyway, I've lost my point now. But anyway, you know, I started this video because we don't have to post this, do we? Because my plan was to pop this on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it's because Tamara's agreed that I can post it. But I just thought, while it was all in my head and I can never get things out without waffling, I just wanted to record it and throw it up on YouTube and just let you know of a few of the tiny challenges, you know, just a tiny number of the challenges that we have here. And it's really lovely that so many people have ideas of what we could do. And there's so much that we could do here because all the ingredients are here.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful farm in the most stunning part of the world, right next to Cartmel Village, that has so much going for it. We have the best, most beautiful horses in the country. I can say that because I'm massively biased. They are so kind. They live, as Tamara said, their best life. And they're happy.
They also have the most knowledgeable person in the UK on Friesians, looking after them and making sure they live their best life.
Yeah, which is why, you know, I never intended to go down the sanctuary route, but it's the way that it's gone. And I know that, you know, the Hunnis, who was the first one left with me, I know that his owner left him here with me because she knew that I had the knowledge and she knew that I would make sure that he was okay. And if I can help more Friesians and their owners, then I will do, but I can only do that with everybody's help. So as long as people want to keep on helping, we'll keep doing it. And you know, we've made so many wonderful friends and followers over the years, and some have even, you know, offered legacies in their will, which is an amazing thing. We don't want to lose any of those people at all, you know, because you don't want anybody to go. But the sad reality is that for this to survive in the long term, after my day, after our day, which is what we so desperately want to happen, because it just shares that happiness and that feel-good factor that the Friesian horses give you, we have to rely on things like that. So we're going to have to keep on with the fundraising and hope that maybe there's somebody out there who has a spare million or two that they just want to throw into the equation so we can keep going, keep the farm, I think standing.
If we could get a couple of sponsors for the horses, that would be fantastic.
And
it's
wonderful. Not because, you know, I've said all my life, you know, it's not an uncommon thing for me to say, you know, I don't want to drive fast cars. I don't want to go off on flashy holidays. I'd like a holiday every now and again, and I know Tamara needs some sunshine on her bones. But it's, you know, any funds are just to do what we love and what we love sharing. So yeah, sorry for this. Well, no, I'm not going to apologise for this video. I'm not, because
it's a tough time. These bags are because I've got to spend thousands on getting LEO satellite Wi-Fi because we're in a shocking area. We can't get proper Wi-Fi. It's a nightmare. And that's just one tiny thing that is a nightmare. But as you said...
I mean, how much is that going to cost? You know, we can't get... There's no grants available for us to get good internet here that covers the farm. So it's going to cost, what, 3.5? I mean, we've already spent out, what, nearly $2,000? Over $2,000 in the last year on trying to improve the internet on the farm. It's not worked. So now Tamara's done a huge amount of research into all other different things. We've got to go satellite because we don't get...
Make me cry.
Don't cry. But we don't get, what is it? I don't know, because you do all the research into it, the fast fibre or whatever it is.
Yeah, we can't get decent fibre, and because when we rent the house out, and there's a house that can hold 14 people, 14 phones, 14 laptops, plus the rest of the farm and us working on the rest of the farm, we need decent speed and decent capacity. There's nothing out there that will give that at the moment. We can't get, the government will give, I could go on for hours about this. The government gives grants, but there are no companies putting fibre in our area, so we can't get those grants. Blah de blah.
Yeah,
and we would love to put up cameras all around the farm so that all our lovely followers could just link
could
in
just
and
tap
watch.
into whatever camera they want.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Down at the
even,
14 acre.
we even talked about having GoPros on different horses on different days, and you could choose which horse you wanted to be. Can you imagine how cool that would be? So we've got all these ideas, of all these amazing things.
I watched that video earlier.
I've got
JB.
one I'm about to post on YouTube.
It might be that.
Yeah.
And it just made me smile because it felt like I was sitting behind his ears and just wandering around, you know, mooching over there, whinnying, saying hello to whoever. So, but we could do that if we had the equipment and proper Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So, you know, everything.
Either that, or we've often said that we'd swallow all our pride if somebody wanted to come and do a reality TV show here. Yeah, it'd be quite scary in lots of ways. But
not for you. You're very natural on camera.
Oh, you hated me when I brought you in on this now, but you're far more relaxed and natural with it because, you know, we're just having a chat about it, but we're sharing it with all of you. Yeah. So this is no different to what we'll talk about over dinner most days. I always cook because Tamara won't cook, but she always cleans up after me. But, you know, we've talked so often about the fact we need to get this across to everybody.
Yeah.
And this is maybe the start of it because there's so many other things that we could share with you, you know, that the girls could. And
we said the other day that we're like the equestrian version of Clarkson's farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That should probably be the title of this waffle, shouldn't it?
Yeah. And we're not a traditional equestrian business. No. You know, we don't go out to compete. We don't look at breeding or selling or being a riding school or any of the traditional equestrian things because we've tried to make it unique, original,
friendly and
different.
Accessible. I got really upset the other day, didn't I, when somebody we won't name locally, they're just horsey people. And I thought that's such a rude thing in the way that he said it.
Right.
I thought that's not what we are, that's not what we're about. Not that there's anything wrong with horsey people, but he was being derogatory.
Right.
And yeah.
You can tell me off camera who it was. Yeah, and you know, we just look at it that we're animal lovers, we want to understand them. The main thing is about understanding them. Yeah. And as much as a lot of people would say it's really odd, you know, we do put human personalities on them, and that's why we want to share with people who look at them in the same way that we do, that they've got feelings, they've got sentiments.
They're individual characters.
They're completely individual characters, all with their own little funny ways about them. And that's where, you know, I don't know, some of you might have watched, we did a live video because we had a little get together the other evening, and Holly has put together a song for each horse and a job title, you know, like Veebs would be a maths teacher and Mabel would go off doing burlesque at night, and you know,
she's very clever. She's very clever, and it really identifies the personality of each horse.
It does,
and it's like most animals, you know, they all are individual characters, and
that's the great thing. Everything that we do, like with the stable stays, you get to learn about their personality. It's not about the riding. Yes, we ride them because we'd like to train them to make them as healthy and as fit as you can, because it's no different to a human going to the gym. But to stay in the stable stays or come on our yard experiences, meet the horses, the friendship barn, you get to learn about their personalities and their characters.
And I have to say, you, Jodie, Holly, Freya, are all so good at letting their personality shine. So when you come from Meet the Horses or any experience here, you explain about the personality of the horse, and then you can see, you know, visitors can see the personality and interact with that personality in certain situations.
Yeah. Anyway, what we at? I think we've been filming this now for 39 minutes and 37 seconds.
You should have put live recording sticker on the door, then I wouldn't have walked in. And
It's not
even more.
It's not live. I didn't tell her that. She obviously thinks it's
Thank
live.
God. Well,
she's happy now that she knows it's not live.
No, this is what I mean is live filming. So
Yeah.
that, but you can cut my.
I'm not going to cut. I'm not going to cut out any of you. I'm literally going to throw this up onto YouTube now. If anyone watches to the end, that's great, because that actually increases on the social media front. That will increase our viewing hours, because we don't earn any money through our social media at the moment. I think on TikTok so far, in the 18 months we've been on it, I think we've earned £13.
Somebody please tell me the best way.
If you watch this to the end, we need 4,000 viewing hours and 1,000 subscribers to even start to be monetized on YouTube. So we're not looking at that as being a massive money earner for us, but even if it brought in £50 a month, that would be great. Yeah. So we're still under 2,000 viewing hours at the moment, and I think we're on 777 subscribers, which is slowly increasing.
Yeah.
And it's just one platform. Last week we absolutely hammered TikTok, and it's been lovely to see the response on TikTok.
Yeah.
But
you gotta keep it up.
TikTok make it quite easy to put something up there. I can't put any of this on TikTok, because this is where it's frustrating as well, is anything on YouTube, unless it's a short, has to be landscape. Anything on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, has to be portrait, and for the shorts on YouTube, it has to be portrait. So you can do it, but it just doesn't look the same. Anyway, I'm doing the usual and waffling lots.
I think if you've made it to the end of this, congratulations.
Yeah,
I'm sure it started off very interesting and very succinct. And
never from me. So yeah, we're going to wish you good night, because it's now,
what is it?
11:15 on Sunday night. Bailey's got school in the morning after half term, so I've got to get up and get him sorted.
I need to try and get some sleep.
Yeah, Tamara never gets any sleep. She spends longer in bed than everybody, but she never sleeps. Yeah. Anyway. So yes, thank you very much for listening to us have our Sunday evening waffle. And it's not a moan and it's not a whinge. It's just trying to get across to all of you some of the challenges of life here at the farm.
And thank you for letting us vent.
Good night, all.
Good night.